Michelle, great day here and a great night last night.
It certainly was, Rod. I must say that it was one of the better Calcuttas that I'd been to. Some great money about for the horses today, and just a terrific community spirit there last night.
Well, you look like you did enjoy yourself. Michelle, you're going to have a look a bit later on at some sheep shearing. Is it something you know a lot about?
No, and I hope they don't ask me to have a go either. But Yass is obviously a very productive wool growing area, and I look forward to talking to a number of growers and the International Wool Secretariat during the day as well. So I might learn a bit more by the end of the day.
Anyway, we might get you to study the form of the Yass Cup a bit later on and come up with what you think will win.
Well, I think that'll be very interesting after the Calcutta last night.
Well, Michelle Tizard, she'll be back with us during the day here, Nick. She's going to, one aspect is going to be the sheep shearing. I tried to pull the wool over her last night and failed. Coming up next, though, is the first at Canberra as we go back to Nick.
Good on you. Thanks, Rod. They're having a great time there at Canberra, as they will. Now, race one at Canberra. Let's have a look at the market there for you. And number one is Medicine, and it's at $1.30. Pretty short for the first number one, as we take you to Canberra now. And our caller there this afternoon, Tony Campbell.
The first on Yass Cup Day 1997. The line is set. Medicine favourite. Stand by. Frothy Top. They're racing a pretty good level start down towards the inside. Frothy Top got away well. Medicine's caught a bit wide, followed driving through there by Spanish Light Lazarevic, not too far away. Jet Batten dropping out to last was Miss Bletch. On settling down now as they race towards that first turn, 900 to go. Spanish Light is joined by Lazarevic on the outside. A length and a half behind those, Jet Bat third, followed then by Frothy Top. A length back behind those, Medicine. At a length or so then, Miss Bletch at the tail of the field. Down the side, 700 out, little change in the order. It's Lazarevic on the outside and Spanish Light, the joint leaders. Just over a length in front of Jet Bat going well, followed by Frothy Top. A break of about a length and 3/4 then. Miss Bletch is racing on the inside of the favourite Medicine. Up towards the turn, race one on Yass Cup Day. They've got about 450 metres to go, and still it's Spanish Light on the inside and Lazarevic. They turn clear. Running on out wide was Jet Bat, followed further back then Spanish hooked out, running on. Now as they race down the straight, there was Medicine now putting in a run with about 300 to go. Oh, here's Medicine racing up quickly on the outside of Jet Bat. They're battling it out, followed further back then Miss Bletch. It's Medicine on the outside, racing to the lead near the line, and it's all over. The favourite is racing away. Medicine races away for a most impressive win. He's down on the line. Medicine first, Jet Bat second, followed by Miss Bletch third. A break behind those, Frothy Top, followed then by Spanish Light, and Lazarevic was a long last in the opening race. Favourite too good in the first race, Medicine, ridden by John Scourse. Number one, the winner, Medicine, John Scourse. And Jet Bat will get second, ridden by Matthew Carl. And third, number 6, Miss Bletch, ridden by Jeffrey Penza. The winner, Medicine, is trained by Barbara Joseph and is a 2-year-old brown colt by Dr. Grace out of Blessed Me, raced by P.H. Joseph, C.J. Bogue, D.A. Dale, D.K.R.I. and I.H. Hitchcock in partnership. And this colt by Dr. Grace, well named by Medicine, or called Medicine by Dr. Grace, was having its second start today. Settled down, Johnny Scourse was contented to sit back towards the tail of the field, switched the colt out wide in the straight, and was far too strong in the run to the line. Medicine on Super Tab $1.30, $1.50, Jet Bat $2.20 on Super Tab, and no dividend for number 6, Miss Bletch. Those are the details. The favourite getting home in the first race here on Yass Cup Day. A good start for the punters, even though it was pretty short, but nevertheless a winner's a winner. And we'll have more from the nation's capital in just a moment.
Johnny Scourse riding the first winner there. Medicine at very short odds, but that's the way, as Tony mentioned, punters would like to start things off there. Now, Cranbourne race 1 was won by Kim Tiger, number 5.
Always good to be with a kindred spirit, because Greg Farrer, he came from Queensland, which makes him a top bloke. Greg, you've got a pretty good lineup of rides today, and you picked one up earlier today in the second, the upcoming race, Lusty.
Yeah, he's a horse, Gary Kirkup, so I've ridden him a little bit of work. It's a shame Peter Wiggins couldn't make the weight, but, you know, I'm happy to pick up the ride.
Yeah, now, also, you've in the fourth, you're in on Via Della Rosa.
Can't really say much. I don't know the horse, but on his form, he's sort of going to have to improve a bit in that race.
I said you came from Queensland. It makes you a good bloke, and you're also riding He's a Good Bloke.
Yeah, he's been a very good horse to me, this bloke. I've won about 5 or 6 races on him. You know, he's first up from a spell the other day. He ran a good second here, come from a long way back. So, you know, hoping to nearly win today.
He can also race up on the speed, can't he?
He's won a lot of races though, you know, 1900, 2000, leading all the way, so...
And he goes well on the track.
He does, he likes Canberra, yeah.
I think, isn't he the horse that's part owned by Barry Cassidy of the ABC?
I think he is, yeah.
Yeah. Then we move on to race 6, and you're on Victory Reign.
Yes, another one of Gary Kirkup's. He showed a little bit last time in. I won a race on him at Canterbury. His first up run last time in was very good, so expecting a good run today.
Well, of course, the big one today is the Yass Cup, and there you're riding Joe Pelladine, is it?
Joe Pelladine, yes. We got him. We have only had one preparation with him. He showed a little bit in his work, but he never really done much to the races. But you know, he's going all right this time in. We're sort of hoping he can, you know, show us race day what he showed work last time in.
Well, that brings us to the Get Out Stakes, the final event, Chinese Opera.
Yes, he's an ex-Rogerson trained horse. He's got a little bit of form. You know, he's run placings at Flemington and in Sydney tracks. So, you know, he's a maiden horse in a class 2. That's his only worry. But we're expecting him to run a real good race.
They've all got to win sometime. Greg, obviously Canberra's been good to you. You're happy here?
Oh, I'm very happy here. Yes, I won the premiership. Yes, our race first year as I seen the last year. So it's been very good.
All right, Greg, well, good luck today. You've got a nice lineup of rides, and as I said, it's always great to be with a kindred spirit.
Thanks very much, Rod.
Greg Farah, the leading rider here at Canberra last season, and he does have a very attractive lineup of rides, 6 of them, in fact. In the upcoming event here, he's riding Lusty. As we go back to Nick.
I think Via Della Rosa, Rodney, ran the in the Nowra Cup a couple of years ago and won it at about 100 to 1, Via Della Rosa, so there's a bit of a hope of the race there in the next race. Thank you, Rod. Thank you to Greg. Good luck. Now, let's back at Canberra.
Good on you, Nick. After seeing that finish at Sandown, no wonder race callers go grey or worse. Anyway, on a more serious things here at Canberra, the Mr. Magic of the ACT, Michael Heath, with his last look at the runners in race 2.
Yeah, thanks, Rod. Big support on track here for number 14, Umbani from the Ken Callaghan camp. Opened up around about half each way odds with the bookmakers. It's paying 6 to 4 on the toe. That's what price it is with the bookmakers on course. It's been very well supported, Umbani. Like the look of him, he's trained by Ken Callaghan. He's had a look at the track. He was raced back here in June. Didn't handle the wet ground on that occasion. Unlucky at Kembla Grange when resuming the other day. It was a big run, and Umbani expected to go one better here this afternoon. Dangers, 6 Mystic Storm from the John Morrissey establishment. Trialled very well here recently. Nice pedigree. Should race well, as will 5 Lusty, another first starter, but has trialled very well. Greg Farah replacing Peter Wiggins, and Lusty's from the Gary Kirkup camp. They're behind the barriers, settling on 14 Umbani. Been a good go on course for number 8 Imanus too. That's had no luck in his last couple of runs, but you can't tip them all, Rod.
Good on you, Michael. That's the way Michael Heath sees race 2 at Canberra as we go back to Nick.
Almost set now. Thank you very much, Rod and Mike, as we take it to Tony for the call of the second. Good luck if you're on.
Now they're all in. Race 2 on Yass Cup Day 1997. Big field of 16. And away they go now. Slowly away was Thanks for Ringing. Little Bear went back to the tail of the field. Crazy Notion didn't jump all that well, and Lusty went straight to the lead. There goes Umbani on the outside. Mystic Storm is running third, followed by Camzona, Pirates Bay. Making up ground was Basita. Back behind those then came Just Brad. Further back in the field, Imanust. Further back then, Big Harry's on the outside. And the next one was Persian Jester racing towards the turn, followed by Little Bear, Crazy Notion. Well back was Call Their Bluff and Select Speeders last of all. Up towards the turn, they've got about 500 to go. Lusty is joined by Umbani on the outside. They're about 2 in front of Mystic Storm along Break Pirates Bay. Then Basita followed by Imanust. Back behind those, Thanks for Ringing. And Just Brad is next, followed by Little Bear and well back Call Their Bluff. But in the straight with about 300 to go under the whip, the leader was Lusty. Here's Mystic Storm down the outside. In between those, Umbani. It's Mystic Storm out wide, racing up to Lusty. Mystic Storm is coming home by far the better. And Mystic Storm, a first starter, races away. Mystic Storm first. Now Lusty second, Umbani third, then Camzona. Back behind those, Imanust, Pirates Bay, then Basita. The next one across the line, Thanks for Ringing, followed by Just Brad. Then Crazy Notion, our Jono well back in the field, followed by Big Harry. Persian Jester, Never a Chance, followed by Call Their Bluff, then Little Bear. And Select Speed was the last one across the line.
Yeah, number 6, the winner, and that was Mystic Storm 5, Lusty second, and 14, Yumbanai third, after race number 2 at Canberra, and Mystic Storm number 6, ridden by Matthew Carl. 6, 5 and 14. Thank you to Tony Campbell. Now, race 1 at Caloundra. Number 1, Brother Sin at 6.25. Grass Cutter at 40. Rising Royale at 36. 360 about Demi Jude. Legendary Sam at 16. Then we have $13 out from 11 for Hewler Twist. Just In a Night at $5.10. Sea Lena at 8.30. Littlefoot number 10 at 19. 9.35 about number 11 Flying Felix. Then we have Starry 8.17 and Sweet Miranda at 41 for the first at Caloundra. 4.5.11 from Al and Demi Jude from Legendary's Arm and Flying Phoenix. They are the selections there from Al. They're behind the barrier. Race 1 at Caloundra. Beautiful part of the world. Club Crocodile and the team there at the Whitsunday.
Thanks, Nick. I was saying earlier on when I was talking to Rod just how fantastic this Yass area is for wool growing. And with me is Barry Walker, who's on the committee of the International Wool Secretariat. And he's told me some very interesting news about what they're doing about promoting Australian wool overseas. Barry, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you, Michelle. It's a great pleasure to be here. One of the things that we are doing at the International Wool Secretariat is that we're taking wool all the way from the farm right through to retail. We're advertising that. Wool growers, when they sell their wool, actually pay a proportion of their wool in wool tax, and that funds the International Wool Secretariat for research, development and promotion and advertising. The Yass district is very important to us as an industry because it produces some of the highest quality wool in the world, in fact, and goes to all of the head courtiers and fashion designers right around the world.
It starts off looking like this.
It starts off looking like that, and we've seen some sheep shearing, and we'll see some sheep shearing. That's where it starts, and after that it goes through about 32 processes till it finishes up with a garment like the great one you've got on today.
Thank you. And tell me, which countries are buying our Australian wool?
Australian wool, major consuming countries are in the Northern Hemisphere, where we've got Western countries, generally speaking, and in Asia, countries with a high level of income and a desire to have good things and good clothes, and also in areas in the Northern Hemisphere where they get a cold winter. It's pretty helpful to get a cold winter when you're selling wool.
And would you say that our Australian wool is the best in Australia?
Undoubtedly, Australian wool, in fact, Australian wool constitutes something like 75 to 85% of the world apparel wool market.
Thank you, Barry. We have to wrap it up there, and back to Nick. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Good on you. Thanks, Michelle. Almost set now. Warwick Farm Race 2. Here's Hilt. Road Mystic Storm to victory at $541.90. 5 Lusty second. And 14 third. Yumbani, the trifecta, was 173.80 on race 2 at Canberra. Warwick Farm, late scratching. In fact, the late riding change. Number 13, Copper Mountain, is now Craig Agnew on Copper Mountain. Race 3, number 13 is Craig Agnew. So take note of that at Warwick Farm. Was to be Dale Spriggs. Now race 2 at Murray Bridge. Coxmore at $18. Carmen's Pride at $2.90. Gifton Area at $3.20. We have 14 about number 4, Superheart. Number 5 is Festas at $9.70. Owen Ridge to ride number 5. $15 for 7, Giuliano. 8 Absolute Logic at $78. Bernadette Payne goes on board number 9, which is
Battled Home, well written by Neville Wilson. And third, number 1 is Sky Talk, written by Craig Williams, who was well placed all the way. And the dividends there after the running of the third on the card here about to come up. With Super Sun the winner, Cargo Limit second, Sky Talk third. Numbers are 7, 8 and 1 in the third of the day at Sandown. Coming back to race 4. Next on the card here, the Clay Hero handicap due for 2.43.
Okay, thank you very much, Johnny. Now race 3 at Canberra, and they're moving in well. Number 2 is the Fractious horse there, which is Ace Corp, about to move into an outside gate. Now race 2 at Caloundra updating, and number 1 is El Cargo at $17. Number 2 is at $9.25 now, $9.70. Paris Boas, more money chips in. Seabass at even money. 11 about Father Phil. 20 about Miracle Night. Single issue at 13. My Penny 21. Starry Gazer at $11. 51 about Bunya Girl. 9.
Boxed and ready to run. And away they go. Now, Sporting was slowly away. Handmaiden landed out in front. Ace Corp are showing speed and driving through Doc Marbles, followed then by Rancher's Hope and Secessionist. Back behind those then Hipshot. Easing back a bit on the inside was Gila Sheila, followed by Miscompliance and Jinsky's Rocket. Then Edsa, followed by He's the Limit, caught a bit wide. Now, Celebra's getting back in the field, followed then by Houdini Hank. Back towards the tail was Warbler, followed then by, getting up along the inside, Snow Gum and Sporting is second last. The big field races towards that first turn. And down towards the inside, Doc Marbles is pulling, keen to go a little bit faster. There's no speed on. Doc Marbles just in front of Ace Corp, second on the outside. Two behind those, Secessionist, a similar margin, then Rancher's Hope, followed then by Hipshot, who's racing on the outside of Gila Sheila. Back behind those, He's the Limit, then Houdini Hank down towards the inside. Back centre field was Edsa, followed then by Celebra, who's being ridden hard with the whip as they race up towards the turn. Then Haddon Maiden, followed further back in the field. Then came Sporting, followed by Nijinsky's Rocket and Miscompliance. Warbler second last and Snowgum is last. Around the turn though, and Doc Marbles is the leader. Ace Corp is trying hard, followed by Secessionist, drifting off the track, looking for a way out down towards the inside. The Grey Rancher's Hope, further back behind those Houdini Hank, but out very wide. Secessionist has raced up and hit the lead. Secessionist raced well clear. Running on well was Houdini Hank, followed by Sporting down the outside. Sporting is coming very quickly, but it's Secessionist in front near the line, and Secessionist held on. Secessionist first, Houdini Hank second. Third out wide, Sporting, followed then by Celebra. Then He's the Limit, Eds is next, followed by Miscompliance. Then Haddon Maiden, back behind those Hipshot, followed by Ace Corp. Warbler well back with Gila Sheila, followed then by Doc Marbles, Nijinsky's Rocket, pulling up quickly Rancher's Hope, and the last one was Snowgum. Stand by, Secessionist number 5 is the winner, ridden by Greg Farrer. Number 5, Secessionist, ridden by Greg Farrer, trained at Canberra by Trevor McGilrick, raced by Peter Phillips, R. Gibbs, Jay Walker, the TC Bloodstock Syndicate, the manager Tony Chung, Dr. Jablobski and Jay Cortland in partnership. Now, Houdini Hank, I think, will get second, just in front of Sporting. There's not much in it for the second placing. Maybe Houdini Hank, just in front of Sporting, who ran on very well indeed. 1:24.86 was the time. A good run, 1:24.86. That's just outside the class record held by Calamba. No numbers as yet. And the last 600 metres, 37.15, 37.15, the sectional time. But the winner, Secessionist, is a 3-year-old bay gelding by Northern State out of Griffco Lass, trained at Canberra by Trevor McGilrick, Greg Farrer, and the owners Peter Phillips, R. Gibbs, Jay Walker, TC Bloodstock Syndicate, the manager Tony Chung, Dr. Jabolski and I. Cortland in partnership. The numbers are 5, 12, 13. Number 12, Houdini Hank second. And number 3, it is third. Number 3, Sporting. So the numbers are 5, 12, 3. 5, 12, 3. 1, Celebra finished fourth. It was hard ridden on the turn to make up ground. And 9, He's the Limit, finished fifth. 5, 12, 3. And we'll have more after race 3 at Canberra in just a moment.
Yes, it was drifting in towards the fence, but it was causing no interference to any other runner because it was a mile in front there. Secessionist for Greg Farrer. Now Houdini Hank second and third, Sporting after the photo. Now let's look at Caloundra and this is the Baroness of Bombala.
Thanks for that, Nick. And local trainer Barbara Joseph's with me. Good afternoon, Barbara.
Good afternoon, Michelle. How are you?
You're having a good day. You've had a winner in the first, and you just had a third there in the third here, that third race. Tell me about training in this area.
Look, it's a great area to train. Canberra being so central to Sydney. I mean, it's only 2.5, 3 hours to all the main tracks in Sydney. You can get to Hawkesbury, and you can go back out west, out to Wagga, out those areas. And I just find now that I've opened up stables here in Canberra, I can get to all these areas without much travelling and without any overnight expenses for horses.
It sounds like you're saving a lot for yourself. And what about the training facilities down here?
Yeah, the training facilities here in Canberra are great. They are now just building another new sand track out there, which I think is going to be really good. As you can see, our grass track.
The pattern of racing is interesting. I think Warraluna can lead and stack them up and kick home. 53 kilos on its back, that's the way I'm going to lean. Big Danger, terrified of number 1 Opinui from Guy Walder. Had the 2 runs back from a spell now. Last preparation, put a couple of good wins together at Newcastle over 1,600 metres and 18.50. This looks a nice race for Opinui. He has got 58 kilos. That is a concern. Nevertheless, you've got to respect him for sure. And number 3, Golden Week. The Big Danger, noted about that. Won the last 1996 Yass Cup. Rod, you might recall. Been out of form a little bit, this horse. But if you go back to some of her old form, she'll be right in this race for sure. Glenn Perry, a young apprentice jockey's ridden her the last 2 starts. Significantly, Matthew Cale on board today. But summing it up, Rod, 8 Warraluna on top, hardest to beat, 1 Opinui and 3 Golden Week.
Good on you, Michael Heath, who's going against the favourite in race 4 here at Canberra. And as we go back to Nick, and we'll be back later on with more of the action from the Yass Cup meeting.
Thank you, Rod, and thank you, Mike. Tipping very well there today. Now, race 3 at Murray Bridge. Number 1 is a point for John Hawkes, the winner at $2.50 and $1.30. Never Perfect at $1. Now at Canberra for race 4, the McDonald's Ampol Yass Class 6 handicap. You've heard all the good oil as we take in our to Tony Campbell for the race over the 1,600 metres.
Thanks, Nick. Warraluna's the one out of line. It's 20 on Warraluna over there at the 1,600 metres. The McDonald's Ampol Yass Service Centre Class 6. Now they're all in. Line is set. And away they go, a good level start, although Via Della Rosa went back to last when they hit the ground. Remember, Joan got away well up, and now he moves up on the outside, followed by Warraluna caught wide. In behind those, Royal Commissioner in Flamers pulling back on the inside, further back then Golden Week, and a neck off Via Della Rosa at the tail of the field. On settling down as they swing down the back and with the mouth open, remember, Joan is the leader. Now going up 3 wide to join the leader now, Warraluna, followed then by Opanui easing back to third, pulling hard on the inside in Flame. On its outside was Royal Commissioner, followed by Golden Week, and 2 up then Via Della Rosa last of all. In the back stretch as they race down towards the 950 metre mark, and Warraluna sustaining that run goes to the lead. Warraluna about a half a length in front, remember Joan. Now moving up on the outside was Royal Commissioner, a length behind those Opanui, followed by Inflame on the inside. A half a length Golden Week is second last, and 2 off then Via Della Rosa as they leave the back and race down the side, and the leader Warraluna in second place, remember Joan, followed then by Royal Commissioner. Opanui is getting up along the inside, but will need a run from there. Back behind those then Golden Week, followed then by Inflame, and last of all was Via Della Rosa. Up towards the turn, they've got about 500 to go, little between remember Joan and Warraluna. They swing around the turn, nothing between them, followed by Royal Commissioner. Opanui's down towards the inside, switched out, Golden Week is running on. Back behind those Inflame, followed by Via Della Rosa. Here they come though with about 300 to go, and Royal Commissioner shot through to hit the lead. Golden Week on the outside's running on. Warraluna still there on the inside, and Opanui. It's Golden Week on the outside, driven to the lead inside the final 100, and Golden Week is drawing clear. Golden Week too strong. Golden Week has beaten Royal Commissioner. Now close for third in Flame or Opanui, then Warraluna, Via Della Rosa, and one of the early leaders, remember Joan, pulled up at the tail of the field. Golden Week, who won the Yass Cup last year. It was over 2,000 metres last year. Golden Week, Matthew Carl, is the winner. Royal Commissioner battled on, fairly close for third. We had Inflame out wide and Opanui, but Golden Week, trained by John Morrissey, raced by the Gundaroo Stud Syndicate, the managers R.K. Lees and El Hoyle. A 5-year-old chestnut mare by Grosvenor out of Flight Queen. It's now had 19 starts, 6 wins, 2 seconds and a third. Golden Week on Super Tab, 684.10. Royal Commissioner 410 on Super Tab. A photo for third, close between Inflame or Opanui. I've got a slight leaning towards the one on the outside in Flame, but we'll stand by. 3-6 and a photo after race 4 here on Yass Cup Day. That was the McDonald's Ampol Yass Service Centre Class 6 plate, and we'll have more in a moment.
Yes, trained by the very good trainer John Morrissey at Canberra. 3, the winner Golden Week. Now, there they are at Caloundra behind the gates. Number 2 is Maisons at 6.25. Number 3 is Hellion Lassie at 4.4. Has run third. It'll be 3, 6 and 4. With Inflame into the third spot. A break and then we'll take you to Caloundra once again and his ride.
Good on you, Nick. Well, 12 months ago, a horse called Golden Week won the Yass Cup, and he's just returned triumphant again today. And the man who puts the polish on him is Johnny Morrissey. Nice win, John.
Yeah, it was a nice win, rather than satisfying win, because he's one of my favourite horses, this man.
He has been racing a bit out of form.
Oh, it's had 2 runs back from a spell, but she come back very big in condition, and she just had 2 conditioning runs with the Pratis on her, you know, but she was very big.
Well, I suppose the next question is the Yass Cup coming up, and you've got a runner, Wenders. Can you make it 2 in a row?
He's a very good chance. He's just drawn a bit awkwardly and probably a fraction short for him, but if he has any luck, you know, he's a good chance.
I know there's a lot of people hoping he can win, John. Tell me this, you've settled into a new property at Yass, Capricorn Park. How are you finding that?
I love it. You know, I've never sort of seen horses do as well as they do out there, and we're doing a lot of work on the place. They're putting in a 1,400 metre straight grass track uphill, and when it's finished, it'll be beautiful.
And obviously the uphill run's going to be beneficial to the horses in their training?
Oh, yeah, and a straight track, it benefits their legs. You know, I think it's going to end up fantastic.
You mean by that it takes pressure off them turning in their gallops?
Yeah, they're just going in a straight line.
Well, I suppose in some respects you've got, what, a mini Lindsay Park there?
Well, very many at the moment, but Mr. Hoyle is doing a lot of work, and it'll end up a beautiful place.
Tell me, John, how many horses have you got in training now?
45 at the moment.
And are they divided between Canberra and Yass?
Yeah, Canberra and Yass. All the young horses I bring into Canberra, I think they've got to be educated on the track. You know, and a lot of the older horses, like Golden Week, they're out of Capricorn.
Yeah, well, anyway, well, congratulations on your win with Golden Week, and good luck coming up with Wenders, and good luck on the new property.
Thank you very much, Rod.
Johnny Morris.
And it didn't just end there. There were quite a few winners yesterday for John Hawkes. So his big team of, or his big staff team.
Thank you very much, Nick. Back here at Canberra on Yass Cup Day. The upcoming event here, race 5, is the Doyle's Pharmacy Amcal Open Handicap. With me is Peter Doyle, a long-time resident of Yass.
Yeah, since 1954.
So you're really one of the locals.
I think I'm a local.
I've said to, I think, Billy, every sponsor we've had, the support for this meeting is absolutely remarkable.
The Yass Cup Committee has done a magnificent job. They deserve to be congratulated on their organisation and their application. It's a great pleasure to be associated with it, and it's because of their dedication that we've had such a magnificent response to this event today.
I think 14 buses actually came from Yass today.
14 buses, and there's no doubt about it, it's become the premier event on the social calendar of the town.
Peter, did you come by bus or did you drive?
Well, regrettably, I had to work this morning because we open our pharmacy on Sunday mornings, and my wife Geraldine and I worked until about 11:30, and we were too late to get the buses, and we came over after that.
Well, Peter, I'd like to thank you very much for your support. Now, your race coming up, have you got a tip for us?
Well, Pat West from Amcal, who we're delighted to have here today, is telling me that number 5, Boot It, is the one to go for, but my fancy is number 3, Didacoy.
All right, Peter, because I actually tipped that myself, so I hope we're both good judges.
Let's hope we win a quid.
Good on you, Peter Doyle from Doyle's Pharmacy at Yass. They're off at Murray Bridge.
Again, here's Michelle.
Thanks, Nick. Well, here we are at the Yass Cup, and you've heard of the horse whisperer, Nick. Well, I think that Yass has one of their very own. His name is Ken Lindsay, and his partner Victoria Tolonia, and they're from the Hardwick stud. Good afternoon. Thanks for being with us today.
Hi, Michelle. How are you?
Now, you've got a pre-training complex here. Tell us about its history and what you actually do there.
Well, actually, Lee Friedman owned Hardwick Stud, which is out of Yass, and we're doing a lot of breaking in and pre-training and spelling out there at the moment, which we're doing great work and people seem very happy with, and we're getting a lot of trainers and owners to come to the place, so it's great, yeah.
Mainly from the local area?
Yeah, we're starting to, Sydney trainers are starting to recognise our work now, so that's great, and they're sending their horses all the way down here, and they don't mind the distances at all.
What sort of strike rate have you got?
Well, we're doing very well at the moment. We've bred and broke in the first and second winner of today's at Canberra, so that's great. Both canonisers, so yeah, so we're going quite well, and all the horses seem happy, and they're doing their job great.
And what's an approximate program for pre-training?
For pre-training, we like to keep them from 5 to 6 weeks. We've got a lot of hill work which builds them up and does a great slow work. And for the breaking in, we like to keep them for the 6-week period so that they can come into here and be attractable and behave themselves.
So we've got the horses organised. What about the jockeys?
Well, we are the jockeys, Michelle. Yeah, no, we do all the riding, and yeah, so there's only the 5 of us out there, so it's a lot of hard work, but good fun.
And how do people get to know about you?
Basically through word of mouth. They see the horses performing well, and they are very attractable, and hopefully none of them play up as yet, so they're doing great jobs, and it's just like a school we've got out there, and they've got to pass their tests and all their exams before they can come into the track and do wonderful things. And
what is your experience as a horse breaker?
Well, I've started from about the age of 11 educating horses and things like that, and I've worked with Kel Bentley and many other various breakers.